So this is where we are today when we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution. It actually covers quite a bit, covers a little bit of digitization. It covers about Internet of Things, AI, and there's another new one that you probably have seen in the industry as well called quantum computing. It's potentially set to be another hype turning into the fifth industrial revolution. So just as a quick summary of how we see the fourth industrial revolution, I want to focus on the second paragraph. Artificial intelligence is one of those key aspects, with systems becoming increasingly sophisticated, enabling machines to learn from data, make decisions, and improve over time with human intervention. I think that's where we see where AI interacts with all of us. We are already using it in some forms in our daily lives, whether you're using it via Copilot, ChatGPT, or just interacting with a chatbot. So it's definitely in and around us, and that is where we want to, or what we want to talk to you about today. So let's look at this trend and hype cycle again. Just a little bit of a quick update there around quantum computing, but I want to show you this. So each one of these hypes and trends have a little, like I said, it's got a little hype cycle, and if you can see there on the downturn, that's where AI is basically from the top, and what the most common AI application today is Gen AI. And you can see Gen AI is already going down towards the trend level. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is you can see there on the right-hand side, it says that period normally considered to be adopted to a trend, so everybody's using it in your business, is 2 to 5 years. So you, as individuals, as company leaders, as government leaders, you basically have a 2 to 5 year window to make the changes that's going to impact your environment. If you do it beyond that, what's going to happen? You can be the late adopter, but what will that be? AI is changing life so quickly, you might not be a parent in 5 years. Because your competition, the differences between you and your competition will just be too big. So that is why time to market is going to be a key deciding factor. I know there's a lot of challenges in AI. Before I go to the next slide, why is AI not widely adopted yet? Give me a reason. If everybody thinks it's the next pill that's going to fix everything, why is not everybody taking it? Again, a lot of people have opinions about it, but the biggest reason in my world is it's money. It costs a serious amount of money to adopt an AI solution. An average GPU server that we sell, and we market related, so I'm not more expensive than my competitors, with 8 GPUs in, guess how much it will cost in dollars, US dollars? Between 350 to 400,000 US dollars. That is why not everybody is an Elon Musk or the Saudi Arabians that has money coming out of their ears. They can do that. So the biggest challenge is, okay, if it's CapEx, how do we adopt AI? The second thing is, can anybody tell me what the second thing is? You see it in the news. It needs energy, right? I have 1 or 2 slides just quickly touching on it. How much energy a single GPU server will take. In the old days, and that's giving away my age a little bit, but I have to go through about 20 slides. I'm going to try and skip through them, not bore you so nobody falls asleep. But in the old days, when you go to a CSP, a co-locator, a cloud service provider, they had a cabinet there, a 42U cabinet there, and they sold it to you by the rack. And most CSPs to this day in South Africa and in Namibia sell you a rack that can provide you with approximately 15 kilowatt per rack. One of my GPU servers needs 15 kilowatt. So now you can imagine you have a 42U rack. I can put one 4U server in there and your power is gone. Imagine rolling out 100 of those servers. Elon Musk, who owns the largest AI data center called Grok or Colossus, has 100,000 of them. You need a nuclear plant next to your data center in order to provide power. Those are the two biggest challenges today around AI and why it's not widely adopted. But look at these numbers. Even if you are an end user or you're parastatal, these numbers are an indicative way to show you where the business and where the activity is going to be in the future. Cloud infrastructure, this is worldwide numbers, 75 billion. Storage infrastructure, 65 billion. Some of my colleagues might differ from me, but these are the numbers that we got from the websites below. Look at AI infrastructure, 200 billion. That's massive amounts of investment in the next coming years. So that's why everybody has to either get involved, touch it, feel it, implement it, motivate it, because this is where the new wave is going to be. And just a little snippet there with our CEO. That's our CEO with Jensen Huang there. All right, a little bit about SuperMicro. I promise not to bore you. We are a US company. Our head office is based in San Jose, California. We have multiple branches over the world. We've got about 7,000 employees. I think the best thing on those slides is that I want to point out we're the fastest growing IT company in the world. We have grown 150% year on year last year. 150%. And that's on the back of AI. And I mean, we didn't grow with 100 million. We grow with about 10 billion. All right, so quickly, a little slide. This is all on IDC. You guys can find it. It's not me saying this. You can see versus our competitors, there's quite a significant change. We now ranked number one, combined number one server vendor in the world. My competition shares the number one spot because according to IDC, if you have similar numbers, you're both number one. So I'm not going to mention who that is, but we're catching them very quickly. And lastly, about the company, people are saying, okay, but I was at a financial institution last week, and the key worry was, where's SuperMicro going? Well, we've just signed a $20 billion opportunity with Saudi, a company called Data Vault, which is a CSP. So just in the next year, we're going to have a $20 billion deployment with them in Saudi alone. So SuperMicro being here, thank you very much, Sonia, again for inviting us. I think if you're looking for a strategic partner that can help you in deploying, scaling with you, SuperMicro is a good fit for you going forward. Sorry, we discussed most of this, so I'm going to go to this slide. Everybody knows about NVIDIA, right? At the moment, they're the biggest GPU supplier in the world. They're the guys that's making all the ripples at the moment. And this is NVIDIA's Q3 numbers. And you will see there are people that's a little bit higher, SuperMicro, SMCI. We have 7.8% market share of all their worldwide deployments. But if you look at all the people in front of us, they're either CSPs or they're privately owned companies and not competitors. Our closest competitor is half, or is deploying half the amount of numbers that we're doing. So SuperMicro, when it comes to AI and GPU deployments, we are significantly, by the billions, bigger than anybody else. Have anybody heard about AI factories? This is, in every conversation, somebody tries to top something now. This is the new thing. This is what Jensen is talking to people about when he's at these keynote speeches, where he says, when you deploy AI now, the next best thing is you're actually deploying an AI factory, i.e. Grok or Colossus. It is a mass amount of deployment. You're not talking about individual systems. You're talking about massive amounts of racks, cooling, power, all of that. So you're basically building a data center for AI. I'm going to skip this slide. Not because of anything else, as SuperMicro is basically fitting into the middle. So we look from an AI factory perspective, we assist our customers anything from the physical hardware that helps with large language models, doing the training. I don't personally think in South Africa or Namibia or most African countries we're going to do large language modules because it just takes too much investment. So I think we will obviously get more involved in the inferencing side of things, in the frameworks adoption. NVIDIA's already got more than 1,000 frameworks, so whether it's cybersecurity, helping you with a chatbot, or whatever the case may be, I think most of the companies in Namibia and in South Africa and Africa will do an adoption around the inferencing side of things. These are the fundamental challenges that I spoke about when you're looking at AI, which you need to consider, whether you a private entity, whether you're a CSP, whether you're parastatal, whether you're in government, whatever the case may be. These three all tick the boxes. You have to have a massive amount of energy. You have to have a thermal design that will help you to cool that deployment. And thirdly, obviously, you need performance in order to do certain of the large language models or AI calculations that you need to. Here's a little example of that I spoke to you about before. In 1995, if you look back as far as 1995, a single server approximately cost $3,000. The consumption per rack was around about 3 to 5 kilowatts. HPC came about a little bit later, so you had more multi-node systems that did the same thing, a little bit more power, so the cost went up a little bit. The power went up, but not significantly. It still fitted into the budget of most of the CSPs. Oops. But if you look now here, look at the cost increase for a cluster and look at the power consumption. So it's significantly bigger. So that's why there's not a wide adoption everywhere of AI yet. We are happy to consult with you guys, give you some ideas. We speak to all. We've done the largest deployment in Africa on AI. We did 650 GPU servers. That's the largest deployment in Africa so far. So if there's anything that we can assist you with, we can help you with, from designing right up to deploying. Just a quick look at why things are changing so rapidly. In the past, we were dependent on CPU cores, and now obviously GPU cores are becoming much more relevant for parallel computing and accelerated compute. You can see the differences. The bottom line is where CPU performance versus GPU performance. So there's a significant increase, and it's due to the amount of cores, memory, how these different GPUs communicate with each other. It's obviously a lot faster. So there is a significant performance increase, and that's why people have no choice but to adopt GPUs in their business. But this is also, again, we touched a little bit on it, so I don't want to harp it to death. But by we now in 2025, look at where the power consumption per rack, it looks like in about 5 years. It's 5 years, guys, only 5 years. You're talking about 1 megawatt of power per rack. In the States, where we deploy these things, we're deploying racks between 130 and 150 kilowatt. That's massive. That's why deployment, mass scale, again, is not easy and obviously can drain the national grid in any country. Just touching on this, so recently in the last 2 or 3 years, SuperMicro have seen that deploying AI has significant challenges, and we started to look at cooling options. We've developed our own direct-to-chip. We actually have all these different types of cooling. So we have air cooling, we have sidecar, we have rear door heating solutions. But the most common one is liquid-to-chip. It's the most efficient one. If you look at all these detail, you will see from a green perspective, the one that's got the most green obviously is the most effective. So SuperMicro builds R&D, deploy direct-to-chip liquid cooling solutions ourselves. We're the only ones at this stage that, from a server manufacturer perspective, that deploys, deploy in R&D our own cooling solutions, which is essential if you're going to deploy AI. I'm not going to go too much detail of what it consists of, but you have a CDU at the bottom, a coolant distribution unit. You have the cold plates. They all tap into your if you don't have water-cooled or liquid-cooled infrastructure in your data center, we can actually put what they call a sidecar solution. So we put a rack that's inside your data center, next to your existing racks, and it becomes your cooling solutions. But again, this is everything that we do. Yeah. So, does anybody know some of the CSPs in South Africa? You guys are a CSP, right? So you will definitely be interested in this and share the same challenges as anybody else. So Terraco is a company owned by the Digital Realty Group. They're the largest data center deployment infrastructure company in the world. And their biggest challenge sits here. Your PUE, your power utilization efficiency. And this all goes out of the window. There's a certain break point if you use air-cooled solutions versus liquid-cooled solutions, where physically an air-cooled environment cannot cool the GPU solutions anymore. And that is why it's absolutely, absolutely important that when you look at developing new data centers or a strategy for your own company, that you have a liquid-cooled solutions in mind. Testament of our capabilities. I mentioned this. This is on the internet. This is the largest AI supercomputer in the world. It's owned by Elon Musk. It's called Colossus or Grok. And it consists of 100,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs. It's no longer 100,000. He's already deployed more. So the number is a little bit incorrect. But can you imagine 100,000 GPUs? Approximately $3,500 a GPU. Back pocket money, right? In a nutshell, SuperMicro, if you know us, we have probably one of the largest product portfolios. Anything from traditional business, so you stand at 1U, 2U, 4U mainstream type applications. We have all our GPU solutions. We have modular solutions, typically for hyperconverged infrastructures. We need a multi-node system, high availability solutions, storage, edge. A lot of people are talking about edge AI due to the mobile phones. More and more people are doing actually AI on the edge on their mobile phones. So it's across the board. I'm not going to bore you with specific details, but again, from a variety perspective, SuperMicro OEM for a lot of competitors. When it comes to GPU solutions, we have it all. We have Intel solutions, we have AMD solutions, we have NVIDIA solutions. We pretty much hardware agnostic. Just slightly touch on this. Obviously, data has become the new gold. There's most companies, especially in the government environment, you guys have a lot of unstructured data. I think some of my colleagues are here to provide you with solutions that can help you to structure your data. But it's absolutely essential going forward that the storage solutions that you look at is aligned with AI and how they use data from a speed and different application perspective. There's some partners here. If you really want more detail, I'll really invite you to come and chat to me afterwards. I have some other colleagues here from not just from Salt, but from Pinnacle, who's our distributor in country. So please come to us and we will happily chat to you, provide you with a little bit more detail on any of these solutions. That's it. Any questions? Just one maybe, to humor me.
Thank you. I just wanted to know your opinion about the need for electricity. Will it be sufficient for the growth of providing the electricity for the growth of computing power?
Very, very good question. So you guys think we're the only guys that have problems. If you just go Google a little bit. I have colleagues all over the world, and I meet up with them quarterly because that's where my boss tells me how bad my numbers are and what I need to do to improve them. So I have a chance to speak to them and validate some of the things that I read on the internet. But for example, at our Netherlands office, we can't even get enough power for our normal manufacturing site. So I think recently, about a year ago, there's been a stop put on developing new data centers all across Europe, purely because of it's putting too much strain on the grid. So there's still countries like Norway. Obviously, it's a lot cooler there. They got additional power. But in the most urban areas, there is a non-allowance for new data center developments. You basically have to apply that you want to develop a data center and you're going to have a own power source that's going to supply power not only to your data center, but can assist the grid if you're not using it. Elon Musk is doing it. He's actually building a nuclear power site next to. He's got a solar site already, but he's considering building a nuclear power site for one of his deployments. But they're doing it all over the world. It's not just Elon. People like CoreWeave, which is the largest CSP in the world, Genesis Cloud, NextGen, all those guys are all building the next data centers that they want to deploy. The other has to deploy it in countries like Middle East, where the regulations are a little bit different, but they can't deploy it in their own countries. It's just going to put too much strain on the grid. Terraco in South Africa, bringing it closer to home. When they build a data center, you can ask Gerrit and the guys, when you go and do a tour there, the first thing that they tell you, they build the substations. So they actually start investing in solar. They are building a 10 or 15 megawatt solar plant in Africa. So most of the CSP and data centers have to go hand in hand. I want to build a new data center. Here, Mr. Government, here is our feasibility study, and we're going to provide power back to the grid and to our data center. So it's an extremely important question. Thank you. Sonia? All right. Thank you, guys. Again, it was really nice coming to chat to you. Please come and speak to us afterwards. There's still lots of stuff. You can't really fit it in 20 minutes, but it's really been an honor to come and chat to you guys about it. Thank you.